Hello and welcome to just a relaxed conversation about Splatoon 2, the brand new Splatoon game coming out for the Nintendo Switch sometime in the summer from what I can remember. They haven't shown a correct, a precise launch date for the Nintendo Switch presentation, at least as far as I can remember anyway. If you follow this channel for a while, you know that I am obsessed with the Switch and counting down the days, and I have a little pug calendar on my desk with just Switch written in big letters on the 13th of March, 23rd of March, and it's just gonna be awesome. But one of the biggest games I'm hyped for is definitely Splatoon 2. And the more I thought about it, at first when I found out it was a sequel, I was so many emotions ran through me. I was like surprised, I was kind of worried even, because for me, I did not expect a sequel so fast. But the more I thought about it, I think a sequel is the best course of action for the franchise, for the game. It's created such a huge community. It's one of the biggest community-driven games around on Wii U, probably. Just seeing how much people love it, and the amount of like fan art and things like that popping up everywhere is just crazy. So it's pretty obvious to say that it is one of the bigger games for the Wii U, and it's probably one of the biggest shooters, and it's probably the only shooter on the Wii U, at least a first party one. There's probably like a few third party or second party, like I don't know, like rip off shooters. I don't know. I don't really like shooters. The only one I really like is Splatoon. So Splatoon 2 looks like a great addition, but at first my first reaction was, okay, what are they adding that's going to be worth another purchase? Which is kind of the main thing for me. Are they adding enough to warrant another purchase, entire full purchase of another game that's like the same game but more expansive? Like I said before, I am still kind of new to shooters, but I don't know how much content should one have to be worth buying an updated version. But I think I'll buy it no matter what, because it is Splatoon. But I just may have the feeling of being a bit ripped off if there isn't enough features. But even if I feel ripped off, I don't care, because I will be buying it the day it comes out, because it is Splatoon 2, and that's just exciting on its own. But it looks like they are going to be taking a approach when it comes to more content in pretty much all the areas. First of all, a new campaign I think is coming up from what I've seen, and it seems to be a bit more like plot than the first game. The first game, of course, has some plot and interesting elements in the campaign and just all around just crazy fun stuff. But in the second one, it looks like it'll be much more story driven in a, I don't know, much interesting way, which I'm really looking forward for, because many people play Splatoon for the multiplayer, but the campaign mode is also amazing. I've recently had to restart my progress in Splatoon because I've sent off my Wii to get fixed. Unfortunately, it couldn't be fixed, so they downright replaced the console itself, so I have to like start over. But when I got to the campaign, I just kind of like reinforced myself how much fun it is, and all the like the difficulty spike, especially with the final boss. And just before they had to fight him again was like, oh no, 2 days I spent fighting him, and I have to do it again. But on the one hand, I was happy because it is a great campaign, and it's going to be 10 times more fun just of the more serious, but still not serious, but interesting in a more less casual way. Splatoon is a pretty casual game, but the new campaign looks like it's going to be more story driven and more depth in it, which is great. When it comes to the multiplayer stuff, it looks like will be keeping, or at least upgrading the old maps, because one of the first ones they shown in the trailer is, well, at least looks like some kind of like makeover of Urchin Underpass, which looks great. And there are also some like downright new maps available, which is always cool. And it looks like they have a brand new kind of coat of paint on it. There are a few new elements. It looks like just like a completely different theme to it. It's the same base game, but the theme seems to be a bit different, which I think will be a bit hard to get used to, just because of how different it is, but I don't know, I don't think it will be too hard. It still looks like a base game, but one of my main issues about it so far is, but that's what the issue of the root issue of the Switch itself, which is probably my least favorite part of the Switch, that there's no dual screen play like on a Wii U. It was one of the best parts of the system, and Splatoon benefited so much from it by being able to quickly select your destination and have a look where the enemy is advancing and where your allies are and such. Just at a quick glance on a mini-map on your gamepad. That was great. But now you can't have the gamepad and TV combo. It's a one-screen experience, which is kind of sad, but I don't know. If they pull it off properly, it will be doable. It will be passable. It will still seem good. And probably a bit less dynamic, which is kind of bad for a game Splatoon. Splatoon is based on how dynamic it is, but when you're taking away some features like being able to just quickly tap to jump to a friend, I think you just slow things down a tiny bit. I don't know, I'm not an expert on game design, but I don't know, it just seems to be pulling away these tiny bits at a time that'll make it altogether slower. Like another thing it featured in the trailer, if I can remember properly, is some of the new weapons. They look like they're less chaotic, so to speak. But overall, it looks like there will be still more weapons. So I think if you just find a good one, I think you can still have some good fun with it. Another thing I wanted to touch on is motion controls. We don't know if there will be like motion controls or anything like that in it, but I hope it is. And what I would love is if you could control the Joy-Cons. I think that I think moving with just the Joy-Cons will be the most fun experience. So not the grip, not anything, just the two standard Joy-Cons, one in one hand, one in the other. I think that would be the most fun. But I think if certain weapons could also have like dual aiming, I think that'd be cool. Like the dual weapon they showcase quite a lot seems like it will be one of those where you could have one Joy-Con as one gun, one as the other, and you could just shoot wherever. I think that would be so much fun. I think it'll make the entire game of Splatoon 2 much more immersive, which is another big part of such a game. But now down to the final question: is it too early for a sequel? Judging by everything, no. It seems like Nintendo has found out enough about how much people respect the original game, you know, how to treat a sequel well. The only problem we have is they may separate the game, the fan base too much. There will be some people still playing Splatoon. There will be some people playing Splatoon 2, and they couldn't play together. You can't play Splatoon and Splatoon 2 with like Splatoon people with Splatoon 2 people. But seeing how the Wii U didn't sell a lot, and Splatoon sold even less copies than the Wii U, but still, still a lot for a game on that system. But the Switch currently looks like it will be a huge console, so hopefully there will be lots of Splatoon 2 players, and hopefully most, or maybe even all, who knows, players of Splatoon will slowly cross over into Splatoon 2. At least I hope. I can't, promise anything, but it looks like it may be a game that pretty much everyone that has a Wii U will probably pick up just because of how amazing it is. But anyway, those are my thoughts. It's not too early for a sequel if it is handled correctly. There's still lots of things that I'm worried about, like the dynamic of the game or the motion controls, if they're pulled off correctly or not. On the campaign looks, it'll be great. The new look for Inkopolis, or if it's going to even be Inkopolis, looks great. I just wish the execution will be there on point. I think seeing how much everyone loved the original game, Nintendo had more than enough to work with to create a better and more sharp and enjoyable and dynamic sequel, which I hope will happen. I so can't wait for Splatoon 2 and Switch itself. So if you have any thoughts on Nintendo Switch, or are there any videos on Nintendo Switch you want me to do, please let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe, like, whatever. I'll see you all in the next video of whatever I make. Goodbye, everyone. Goodbye.